Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Patrons video today that I'm making for Yida as part of their custom monthly music review. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on the screen by an act named SevenFat titled Berserk. And we're going to listen through this track from start to finish. And we're going to hear what we think. Just made it full screen and go. Okay, great work with the siren alongside the distorted guitar and the drums. That's pretty dope. Digging that. Great ambience immediately. Sense of trepidation and danger from those sirens. Heavy as hell, dude. I love the sound of those low-tuned guitars there, those bass notes they're hitting there, riffing and grooving along to the drums. And there's kind of gang chants going on the vocals at the moment. It's sick as hell, man. Excellent. As those little bits of filtered guitar, you hear how it got all kind of muffled with that guitar tone for a minute before it's coming in with the freshly tuned drums. That little bit of contrast tonally and texturally is really important to keep the listener engaged. Hang on, other captions? They're French, hang on, but we'll continue anyways. Okay, apparently we're having an argument with the green screen today. That's fine, I don't mind. Nice use of tracking the vocals there. I'd rather not have the French subtitles. No, it's charming. It's great. I like those harmonized guitars there on top, those octave chords rolling with the sort of 8th note grooves and with some 16th accents occasionally. Vocals are nice and you know, anthemic. Charming. Great delay on those guitars all on the side. It kind of makes me wonder whether they've got a synth in there as well as those guitars, because it's such a lovely legato sort of this sludgy flow to it, to that distortion there. It wouldn't surprise me if they had more than just the guitars there adding to that harmony. Oh, breakdowns? Use the flat second. Oh. So we're going live with doing different rapping styles. Like, okay, we've got like kind of rapped, kind of shouted vocals. Now some clean stuff. So much range there, dude. I'm really impressed. And then back into that hook, man. I've just been absorbing it, taking it all in. They're clearly aware of what they need to do to create, compose a track that leaves the listener interested. There are various different textures and tones emotionally, and they do vary the parts there. Like for that little bridge part just before this chorus here, they did, obviously, as you could hear, they were tip-tapping on those hi-hats there, and more of a cleaner sort of tone in those mid-ranges with the bass and such. It's excellent form. Switching back to that minor, that Phrygian mode there. The rage, dude. You know, trying to fit into society and not really working out. You know, I think this video, by the way, just from what I'm taking of it, sort of speaks as like a story of someone just not fitting into modern society, needing to go their own separate direction, their own separate way to be accepted by people who take them as who they are, not just consider them the complete losers, you know? You know, it's a charming song. There's a lot to appreciate within it. By SevenFat. So those are all the different people involved in it. There's so many people involved in this project. To be fair, though, there are a lot of actors and everything like that. You know, there's a lot of people in the different scenes and all that. You know, there's a lot of people involved here. Excellent stuff. I'm really impressed with this. Thanks to Yida for showing me this this band today. Thanks also for the lyrics. You know, it's nice to be able to understand what's going on here. Just looking through the lyrics now. I'm on a rampage, don't stop me, out of control binge. Yeah, will I get into a top university first or would my brain explode first? That pressure to succeed in the face of all odds, man. Just being way too much to cope with, you know? Yeah, I can't really blame him for just completely going off the rails and wanting to join a bike gang. Can't really blame that at all. It seems a hell of a lot more fun than working yourself to the bone just so that other people can make more money off of what you're doing. I think it was great that they went into this. Oh my goodness. I'm happy that they went into this different rap section. Graduation season, the future then collapses. It's like my cover letter was sent to the Bermuda Triangle. Failed once again. Okay, so they tried to get out of that rut, you know, take things a bit more maturely, and then they just couldn't continue to stick out that because things just became way too difficult again, you know? Because this is the conclusion of my review of this track, Berserk, by 7Fat, if I'm not mistaken. What do I think this track is about? Well, I mean, I think this track is about someone who is trying to do things the right way, but just is put under way too much pressure, trying to live a normal life, and they just continually get kicked while they're down. And then they resort to these sort of self-destructive or destructive tendencies. But then they realize, hang on, actually, this isn't really what I want to be doing. Then they step out of that because they think they have to do things properly, but then doing things properly just makes things worse. And they inevitably and eventually get to a point where they just kind of succumb to like the temptation of just saying, fuck it. And that's basically what this track is about. And I adore that. I think that's a really cool message. I think there's a lot of people under way too much pressure nowadays. And I think that people just need to chill. And I like stories like this where, you know, especially if that anarchy is aimed at the right direction, I think that's fantastic. I think that the vocals from this band, you know, the singers there, whether it was a kind of the protest kind of chanting or the rap shouty parts or just the clean vocals with those hook parts, each of those different bits made sense with the instrumental backing behind it, and you know, it was made sense with the music and the story itself. It was appropriate for the mood, the ambience there, you know. This isn't a happy joy song. This is about someone working their ass off and then it being completely losing it and just buckling and going berserk, you know. I don't think you could have gone heavier this with like the growly kind of vocals here, even though we had some guitars that style might have worked. I think just for the sake of trying to keep a sense of tonal equilibrium there despite the chaos, I think it was a smart idea, because we did have various parts to this track, you know, to suit the different areas there, you know. I think the talk about like the eating chili and living to 150 and stuff like that was them just being like, screw it, I'm just gonna like do what I want to do and I'm just gonna try and make my life the best way it is, and whatever happens, you know. And I kind of adore that to pieces. I think that personality is wonderful, you know. But yeah, the vocals were authentic, whether it was just the one person singing by themselves or both of them singing together or like more than that, it was great. No issues with technique, no notes out of place, no off pitches or anything like that. Fantastic hidden chest voice there, and made sense for the genre. The structure of the track at 4 minutes or so, it's within that 2 to 4 minute sweet spot just, and they made great use of that real estate. The story was extensive. you had several different acts to it that made sense with the music video. So obviously there was no filler. The guitars, the bass, the drums, everything there was phenomenal. The drums, you know, alongside the synthy bits that we had occasionally. Like in the earlier part of it, I think we did have some synth parts or some key parts there, or they could have just been leads, but you know, either way, just I think the combination made sense for that kind of new metal, kind of alt rock, kind of protest music kind of vibe there. So that was cool, you know. It was hella catchy with that vocal progression and the hook there. Absolutely no filler whatsoever. I think there was great use of layering in our hook there to have several different guitar parts, whether they were stacked on the sides or in the center, having the down-tuned sort of rhythm power chords on the low end with the octave chords in the center. We didn't have any sort of major predominant lead elements outside of the vocals, but it was a vocal focused track, so that's absolutely fine. You know, the drums, there was lots of variation to the different drum parts, as well as the cymbal work, you know, different grooves, extensions there, removing the kick sometimes, working with the toms occasionally. But ultimately, it was about securing that kind of flow there, that pace there, that the heaviness there, to get the bass to sort of be in time with it, with its rolling around the root notes and everything, and occasional movements upwards, you know. That was great. It's a really solidly recorded track. I mean, there was some occasional flat seconds. We didn't get too exotic with the use of like chromaticisms or anything like that. We stuck within our traditional scales and key signatures, but I think that made it sort of a bit more palatable, despite how aggressive and angry it was. So I think that was a fine sort of like decision to make there from a tonal and harmonic perspective. You know, there were changes in energy levels there. There was a nice sort of gradual build in the intro there, and things ended with that bigger outro at the end to kind of finalize and end the bell curve on a pleasant note. It felt like it was building throughout. There was more and more tension as we went along, especially when we went back into our job and just got trod on and torn on again and again. You know, it's just kind of cool. It's really a cool track. The production, recording, mixing, and mastering was fantastic. I think that we absolutely nailed our attempts at getting the sort of quote unquote new metal and sort of alt rock kind of vibe from the 2000s here, with the tone of the guitars, the bass, the drums, and those keys. It kind of reminded me of Linkin Park and bands like that. So that was dope. And, you know, it was very cleanly recorded, filtered, and EQ'd. There were no weird resonances in the frequency spectrum, you know, no sort of off notes, even with the clashy flat second parts on the lead guitar we had occasionally. That was absolutely fine. No weird resonances in the low end. The bass guitar was nicely balanced there and worked well alongside the kick when that was sidechained as needed to be. And there were some little flutters in the high end alongside those octave power chords on the guitar. But, you know, basically the main focal point again was the different vocal layers, whether they were just in the center or they were kind of being double tracked on the sides. Like for the rap part, which is sensational, I'm glad that those rap parts were double tracked. It adds a bit of kind of grittiness to it, makes it a bit more kind of, a little bit more violent, you know, a little bit more sort of uncertain and untenable. And I enjoyed that. I think it makes sense with the story they were telling there. It was nice leveled out pumping, nicely leveled. No weird resonances. I know I've already said that, but like just it was its commercial grade release. Really happy with it. Thanks. I'm grateful to review all these really dope tracks because I wouldn't come across these bands otherwise. And apparently these are like 5 Taiwanese YouTubers. They're just getting together to make this music, and I think that's absolutely as awesome. So well done to them, and thank you very much for watching this review of 7Fat's track Berserk. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go show 7Fat some love via their various social medias and their YouTube page. Stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next review, or in the next SP Patrons video, should I say. Spiderhands out.